in all fairness, to see who will start with opening remarks and who will start with the first question. Mr. Ricardo Rodriguez won the coin flip, in which case, Mr. Ricardo Rodriguez, you may start your opening remarks.
Thank you. Good evening. I want to thank the History Club for putting this forum, town hall, together. It's great when we have the opportunity to meet different individuals, voters, and also you will also have the opportunity to meet the candidates. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my history, being that it's a history club. My name is Ricardo Rodriguez, and I was born and raised here in Edinburgh, Texas, not too far from here from the university. I was born to two proud parents which are here in the audience today. We have Ricardo Rodriguez, who's here in the audience, and also my mom, Olga. And I was born to a 16-year-old mother and a 17-year-old father. And not too much education. I think they got up to the 8th grade. And the only means of work was just field work. That's it. We didn't have any other means of work. So they took us along with them, and we migrated across the state and also across the country. Spent some time in Moultrie, Georgia, College, Mississippi, Immokalee, Florida, Mill Street, Texas, Bovina, Texas, Hereford, Texas. Spent a lot of time in those different parts of the town. But what's more important is that during those times, which were humble beginnings, my parents taught me good morals, good principles, good values, learned a lot. Grew up with humble people. That's what our family's about, from humble beginnings, humble people. So doing that kind of work, my dad gave me an option. He says, you go educate yourself or you continue working with me in the fields, which he still does. They still migrate to New Mexico every year. My dad's in the watermelon business. He's been doing it for a long time, along with my mom. Now that no one's home, my mom goes along with him. And it's, you know, sometimes my dad wants to send her back, but he has to maintain and you know, put up with my mom. But it was a great experience. So I went off and I got educated. I graduated from the University of Texas, San Antonio, and then went on to law school at Thurgood Marshall School of Law. Graduated from there, came back, started my practice. During the 5.5 years that I was practicing, I was elected as city commissioner here for the city of Edinburgh. Proudly served on the city commission. And during that time, I was practicing law, diversified in the law, did a little bit of everything, criminal, civil, family, juvenile. And then came the opportunity to run for the 92nd District Court bench about 7 years ago. Ran a positive, clean campaign back about 7 years ago. And I asked the voters of the Olive County to give me the opportunity to serve them as the 92nd District Court judge. And they did. They gave me the opportunity at the age of 34, which I was one of the youngest state district judges in the state of Texas. People were concerned that I was too young, maybe worried about the fact that maybe I didn't have too much experience, but still gave me the trust. And we did a good job. We treated people with dignity and respect on the bench. We protected the judicial system to the best of our ability. And we made sure that everyone who was in the courtroom got a fair shake. We made sure that the scales of justice were never unjustly swayed. And we made sure that when people left the courtroom, they said to themselves, we got a fair shake in that courtroom. Because that's what it's about justice. Very first case that I tried was a capital murder case. As a matter of fact, there's 1 or 2 prosecutors in here right now that tried the case for the Dean's office. And that was the first case that I presided over as a district judge, a capital murder case. And several other cases. It was a great experience on the bench. We learned a lot. We made decisions every day, instantly and constantly. We made decisions on people's lives. So I made sure that I made the best, correct decision following the law because it was important. People's lives were at stake. People's life, liberty, and property were at stake. So we made sure that we did the best that we could. I know there was individuals who would grade our papers upstairs, but at the end of the day, we made sure that we followed the law to the best of our ability. And that's what we did for 6.5 years. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here before you. We've been campaigning hard, working hard for about 6 months. Now we're running for district attorney for the county of Hidalgo. We feel that we can do a lot more in the district attorney's office. I'm proud to say that I've worked with several prosecutors who have come before the court, do very good work. There's a lot of women who are here this evening. Like I said, the first case that we tried was a capital murder case. It was a great experience. And after that, all the other cases that we tried were a great experience as well. So we have a lot to offer, ladies and gentlemen. At the end, when we're done, When I have my opportunity to tell you, or give you my closing, I'll tell you what changes we want to make as your district attorney. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ricardo. Mr. Guerra?
Thank you. I want to thank the History Club for putting on this debate, this public forum for the District Attorney's Office. One, let me say that my roots go back to my family, also migrants, many years ago. I was born to a poor family where we were cotton pickers. And we also, like my opponent's family, suffered extreme hardships to make a living when there was no assistance of any sort. Now, I don't say these things to curry favor from you. I don't say these things for you to sympathize or to feel pity for me. What I do tell you is my life experience as a child, a working child, helping a family that had to make ends meet. My family owned a little tortilla factory. My mom made the best tamales in South Texas, as far as I'm concerned. And I sold them door to door when I was in school. It might have been embarrassing when I walked up to some doorways and knocked on the door, and a fellow student opened the door, and I felt like a tamalero, but that's what I was. Not realizing that down the road, these values that my mom and dad taught me also would guide me down the road to make hard decisions and to make sure that what I did was to do right. Now, we went to Florida like my opponent's family. We lived in an army tent near the swamps there, the Everglades. Now, we were not provided very many facilities for farm workers. Now, I worked in Arkansas picking cotton. I dug potatoes in Alabama. I picked grapes in California. I started picking cotton in West Texas when I was 6 years old. I was sent back to the second grade because I didn't spend enough days 1 year in school. I graduated from Edinburgh High School at the age of 20. Graduated second in my class. When I was embarrassed at being sent to second grade, I set out to make sure that they had made a bad decision. And I ultimately proved that by graduating second in my class. I don't say that to sound mightier than you. We all are equal. Now, what I do say is that my background for 31 years as a prosecutor has been based on the values that I learned. I saw my mom interrogated by Border Patrol agents at the checkpoint for 2 hours, claiming that a woman, a wife who had come into the United States at the turn of the 19th century, was being accused of forging a U.S. passport. Now, those are things that have built me into the person that I am now. I stand for right, and that is the job of a prosecutor. You make some hard decisions. I sent the son of my law partner to 60 years in prison. Now, somebody else would have had that case sent to another prosecutor, special prosecutor. We prosecuted that individual. Now, I went before the legislature and I started the practice of law by county court law judges. They were practicing in federal court, representing drug criminals. And then they were coming over to the courthouse doing part-time work when thousands of cases were being stagnated in our office in the court system. I also opposed some of their salary increases that would have been illegal under the state laws that says that county court law judges can make $1,000 less than a district judge, and a district judge will make $1,000 less than an appeals judge, and so forth. I opposed those situations in the district, and I made some hard decisions. The district attorney's office has to make hard decisions on a daily basis. Now, we have made, this is our sixth debate, and I'm going to bear out some differences between my opponent and I. In the 6 debates, to 9 to 6, I will point out some differences and some things that my opponent has said that I will call him to account. One, I've been accused of selective prosecution. I've been accused of current political favor, yet I've prosecuted judges, district judges, county court law judges. I've also been reprimanded by a state bar because one judge from out of town came in and threw out a case of theft against a county court law judge who had taken $9,000 from a political worker. hired a lawyer to represent him for $1,000, got $10,000, he got $9,000. The visiting judge threw out the case. I got reprimanded because I said a nine-kind thing, that perhaps that judge, that chimpanzee might have made a decision. I got reprimanded by State Bar and I accepted it. But that's a point that I took. As a district attorney, you have to make some hard decisions. In the military, I learned to make some hard decisions. I was a lieutenant in the United States Army Security Agency. I had the highest clearance in the military. Not even the president has a clearance. I don't say this to feel great or to be bigger than you. I'm equal like you under the law. As a district attorney, the state's interest is represented in this county on a daily basis, and I have a professional staff that should not be accused of selective prosecution just to curry favor from voters. These are things that are not fair. I do not say anything wrong against my opponent because it would be unethical, it would be unprofessional under the State Bar ethics rules. Yet I've been accused of things that are not fair. I want you to look at what is said, what is the experience, and then you decide whether experience counts. I have 33 years of law enforcement experience. My opponent has never tried a case in court. He has heard cases as a judge, but that's a difference. He has not been reversed in criminal cases because my staff kept him from making error. That is the job of a well-trained staff. I have a well-trained staff in Hidalgo County. And I hope that you do not make a change because the wheel is not broken. Thank you very much.